since the last family meeting, what is the high point that you had? What is that you were really excited about, felt really good about, something that really just, you were joyful about, that brought you happiness and everything. Share that with all the rest of us. Let us share in that. And many times we may know what it is. It might be celebrating one of the children. It might be going to an event. It may be, going to eat together. And some people might have the same high point. Assalamu alaikum, peace. Coach Nazir, one of the founders of OutstandingPersonalRelationships.com, one of the authors of Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. I am really going to talk to you today about family traditions. And the reason is sometimes I get asked all kinds of questions about, what do you do at your family meetings, or what do you do, with your children? So I get a number of different questions. And I know that generations ago, there were a number of personal family traditions that were put out just by usually a patriarch or a matriarch of the family. They would do different things. Sometimes maybe our grandparents may do different things or have certain routines that they will go through, and we would come by the house as children. Other than, going to church or, some religious thing or a festival, they would actually have their own creative process. Well, one of the things I want to do when I become a new father, I wanted to make sure my children grew up different than I grew up. All right, now both my parents were in the home. My parents, first of all, I was born to them when they were 16. So they were still kids at the time. All right, they got married when they were 21. I was after the wedding. I was a ring boy. All right. And they were married for 7 years. So about 7 years. So my father was in the home and stuff like that. He was, working a lot and so on. So I didn't grow up really what both my parents did, really investing in me. They were working and doing really what they felt they had to do. No problem. The point is, I wanted something different for my family. I wanted to be available. I wanted to be around. I wanted to be proactive. I wanted to be financially free. All of this stuff I decided really as a teenager and really just changing my life. So a few of the things I started initially, and I talked to my wife, most of this stuff was done with just Coach Fatimah, because again, I was practicing monogamy. I was married to her for the first 15 years of marriage, period. Right? And then before practicing polygyny, of course, with Coach Nyla for the last 11 years. So with that being said, one of the things I established was something called Asr, or after Salat recharge. And for those of you not Muslim, Salat just means prayer. Muslims pray 5 times a day. Practicing Muslims do. I do that. Right now where I am in the world, Salatul Fajr, or the dawn prayer, comes in at like 3:30 in the morning. Okay. And then Isha, the night prayer, comes in after 10 o'clock p.m. So there's, 5 prayers spread out between those 2 times. So with that being said, after Salat recharge is when you pray with the child, whether you're at home or you're in a masjid or a mosque or what have you, you pray and with your family, your wife, child, what have you. Then after Salat, after you get done praying, after you're praying either Sunnah or doing dhikr, remembrance of Allah, and again, Muslims know what I'm saying with that terminology. If you're not that big a deal. But once you get done praying, then you hug. You hug each other, kiss each other, say, I love you. That's a recharge. There's many different studies that talk about mirror neurons and the release of dopamine and these pleasure hormones in our body that are released when we hug each other genuinely, sincerely. See, I believe in something called, giving the flowers now. And they say that a lot, give me my flowers now before I'm gone. Don't just send flowers to my funeral and stuff like that. That was a saying by a lot of my relatives. That doesn't happen necessarily at Muslim funerals, but the saying means, treat me well now. Show me you appreciate me now. So after Salat recharge was one of those things. So after Salat, after we get done praying, and we call it Asr, even though that's the name of one of the prayers, the later afternoon prayer is called Asr. But it stands, again, in English as an acronym or an acrostic, ASR, for after Salat recharge. After we pray, we recharge. We recharge each other by hugging each other, telling them we love each other. So it's not just that the children come to their parents and the parents hug. No. What I decided is like, hey, listen, your siblings, they might have sibling rivalry, might not like their sister or brother at the time, may be upset about whatever toy or whatever disagreement they may have. But after we get done praying, all that's gone. That's gone. They have to hug each other and I love you. So sister hugging a brother, I love you. Brother hugging a brother, I love you. Really, really simple, but very profound. That's also something that helps your children want to pray because they look forward to that, especially the younger children, the toddlers at the end. They may play around during prayer, but when the end comes, they say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and then they come jumping on you, but they want to hug and kiss you. They want that positive affection, and we need those hugs to stay neutral. So like 5 a day. We're not going to go into all the neuroscience of it, but release these natural loving hormones by giving them their flowers now. Make that a tradition. Don't just say, I love you when you're graduating or you've achieved something or you're on a deathbed. No, express your love. Say it with your words. Yep, it might be part of words of affirmation from the 5 love languages. Say it daily, often, and then follow it up with demonstration. Demonstrate it. That's one thing. That's something easy to do. Costs nothing. Costs absolutely nothing. Costs some time. Now, another thing I do is with family meetings, and this is more in polygyny. With our family, what we do is we meet on a weekly basis. People ask, how often do the children see each other? Pretty much every day, especially the young ones, because we go to each house and everything like that, and they're playing and going back and forth and stuff like that. But every week we have a family meeting, whether that's in a local park, whether it's at the office, whether it's here in the office area, whatever. We have a weekly family meeting. Now, at the family meeting, we give flowers first. We do an exercise that gets everybody in a good mood and everything like that, where it's a whoosh exercise that we do. We go around in a circle, and then once we finish that, we're feeling pretty good. We're smiling. It's a fun little exercise in order to break any negative patterns that might be going on. Someone may be tired or might be thinking about something else that's going on or thinking about business. And all of this, we have to break that up. And then we give each other flowers. What I mean by that is every single person in that circle, and this is, how many people are in the circle? It's myself, wives, 5 daughters, 2 sons. Okay? 5 daughters, 2 sons, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. So 10 of us in the circle. And each of us has an opportunity to go. And we're going to go. So this is what we do. Let me put out my phone so I don't forget anything. These grays in my age. But what I like to do, sometimes I pull up my phone to family meeting. Other times I remember it. But for this training, I want to just share it with you so you know what I'm talking about. All right. So there's several things that we go through. Every person starts, and of course they greet each other with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, with peace. May peace and blessing be upon you in the blessings and mercy of Allah. Mercy of Allah and His blessings. So we start with, what's your high point of the last week? Since the last family meeting, what is the high point that you had? What is that you were really excited about, felt really good about, something that really just you were joyful about, that brought you happiness and everything. Share that with all the rest of us. Let us share in that. And many times we may know what it is. It might be celebrating one of the children. It might be going to an event. It may be, going to eat together. And some people might have the same high point. But what's that high point? Then also share what's the low point of the week. What was the challenge that you had? What was something that you need to get over? Or face, maybe not even get over it. And then we don't just stop there. What's the low point? We say, what's the lesson from the low point? And it's great when someone says, I don't even have a low point over the week and I think about it. But you know what? Then there's a low point where I hit my toe on something and, I need to just be more cautious. Those are small things, but you know what? Sometimes they can be low points. It could be a death in the family, a tragedy and things like that. But the thing is, the most important part is what's the lesson you learned from the low point? Share that with all of us. And again, remember, this is still 10 people going around. Next part is, how are you feeling? So how am I currently feeling? Usually we're looking for a 7 or better. I'm a 7 right now. I feel good. Or I'm a 10. I'm great. We could be outside in the park. Those are the ones that, usually really good. The younger children are they're playing by the slides and everything else. And, we're out in the sun and the fresh air and the grass and so on. And we do it early. So we pretty much had a park and things to ourselves. So how you feeling? Then we go from that to 3 acts of kindness. 3, and this is not something I just came up with. No. All right, the parents came up with most of these different questions. Children added some stuff in. We did it collectively as a family because when you do things collectively as a team, people take ownership and pride in it. So 3 acts of kindness. And what does that mean? That means 1, what's an act of kindness you did for yourself? What's some self-love? What did you do for you? It might be, I might say, you know what? I went to the gym. I exercised. I fasted. Or, I got a haircut. What did you do for you? Might be I got a mani-pedi. I bought this different shirt. I took this course. Whatever it is, you have to make sure you get it in for yourself. So what's 3 acts of kindness? 1 thing you did for you. 1 thing you did for someone else. Whether that's donating something to someone, teaching them something, giving them a ride, educating them on, different opportunities that may be available, whatever it may be, something you did for someone else. And then, what did you do for the community? That's the third act of kindness. What did you do for the community since last family meeting? Maybe you helped volunteer at the food pantry. Maybe you cleaned up an area in the community. Maybe you cut the grass on an empty lot, or you shoveled an empty lot because it needed it. It was just being neglected. What did you do for the community? Then, what are you currently doing for personal development? Very important, right? We talk about personal growth. So what are you doing for personal development? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you studying? What course are you taking? What did you learn from that? So personal development. Then, of course, there's professional development. What are you doing for your business? What are you doing for your job? What are you doing to learn more about a profession that you want to be in or investing or whatever it may be? What are you doing for your professional development? What are you doing for your spiritual development? Again, very, very personal, but you're sharing it with everybody else. And what are you grateful for? And then I had to make this exception because, alhamdulillah, all praise and thanks to Allah, this is something that is very common amongst us as family. We're grateful for Islam, our deen, our way of life, and we're grateful for our family. So I had to say, what are you grateful for outside of Islam and your family? All right, because those are go-tos, those are easy, So it might be technology because I was able to do this online, or I was able to speak to this person. It didn't cost me such and such, or I was able to, I'm grateful for transportation because I was able to get here and there. All types of different things. You find out what they're thinking and what they're consciously choosing to be grateful for. Let me get into what's one thing you learned in this past week. Again, growing, making more neural association. Now, they don't know all of this, but then you're making different neural association. You're exercising your brain. You're keeping yourself sharp. What's one thing you learned this week? Shouldn't be hard. You think about the personal development, the spiritual development, and professional development, or it could be something that you learned with someone else, or you learned a new fun fact. All kinds of stuff. Sometimes it's funny. All right, but what's one thing you learned this week? And share with everybody. Then the last part is you must compliment someone else that you choose to go next. So whether it's your brother, whether it's your bonus mom, it's your bonus dad, or whoever it may be, it's your sister, choose somebody and you compliment them. You're giving them their flowers. You're showing you appreciate them. That helps build a bond within a family. That helps make it tight. All right? We love to be complimented. Not, just to satisfy my own ego. We want to know we're appreciated. So we end with that. So I compliment you, whether it's your clothes, whether it's what you're doing, whether it's seeing you growing in your maturation, whether it's the design, you helping people, you're being selfless, whatever it may be, you're getting these compliments every single week from the people you love the most. These are the family. That's what I do in my family meetings. That's what we do. We love it. We do it every single week. We do it in person. We love each other. We do that. We go all the way around until the last person speaks. And the last person that speaks starts first the next week. Then we get into our agenda, going over the minutes of the previous week, things that we need to handle and getting down to family business. So those are just some traditions we started in our family. Prayerfully, it's able to give you some ideas, and maybe you can even copy some of those. My mentor was like, look, it's cool to copycat, as long as you copy the right cat. And if you like some of the traditions that we put together for our family, maneuver around, check, see how it works for your family, and continue to build better. Because we know strong families are the nucleus of our communities, our societies, and our nations. And we are suffering in a major way because the family structure is flimsy, it's weak, and it's pathetic. And that's just the way I see it. If it was stronger, our communities would be stronger, all the way to our nations would be stronger. Our leadership will be reflecting that. And it starts with us. It starts with us as parents. It starts with us as strong men, as strong women. It starts with us. We don't need to wait on anybody. So let's get started on it now. Make some family traditions that may be passed down from generation to generation to generation that will point back to you and your family when you started it. And demonstrate that love. Because you already know, we don't want you to be average. We want you to be outstanding. Because average is nothing but the top of the bottom, or the bottom of the top. So be outstanding. And understand, practice GLC every day. grow intentionally, love fearlessly, and connect on a higher level every single day. I'm Coach Nazir, and I'm out. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Here are 3 ways outstanding personal relationships can help you.
One is by following us on our social medias. Follow us on IG at Outstanding Relationships and on Facebook and YouTube at Outstanding Personal Relationships. And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Number 2, make sure you head over to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and subscribe to the email list. From there, you will get downloads as well as updates, any and all updates. And you also get an update on the release of our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny, Uncensored.
Number 3, if you are serious about polygyny relationships and really developing fulfillment and happiness, make sure you register for our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, which is members only, which includes downloads, it includes access to us live on a weekly basis. So that's at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM. We'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.